In honor of No Man's Sky turning 10 years old, I'll be giving it a birthday present that includes an action figure of the wrong superhero, a card that will not be read, and a check for $5 that will be accidentally thrown out. But more importantly, I'll be looking at 10 things I wish I knew when I started playing. This video is sponsored by Hello Games, but let's not think about that too hard because I don't want to wake up and realize it was just a dream. Whether you're a brand new player or you've been around for quite a while, there's always something new to discover. So let's start right at the beginning. I'm primarily a PC player, so when I start a new game, the first thing I do before checking on my ship and calling my insurance agent is set up my quick binds. The quick menu is one of the most important features in the game, and creating shortcuts for your most commonly used actions will save a ton of time. The quick binds I use more than anything else are switching from first person to third person, opening photo mode, and dancing. Pairing these to a number on the keypad means I can always leap to these options without even thinking about it. When exploring on foot, especially in the early game, you'll have to keep a close eye on your jetpack power. Even with upgrades, it doesn't last forever, but there are two scenarios where it feels like it does last forever. If you're trying to climb a steep incline, pushing your body right up against a wall will allow your jetpack to keep on flying as long as you need it. Super handy if you fall into holes all the time because you never look where you're going because you're always staring at clouds, I assume. Grabbing a glowing deuterium plant gives you a little prolonged boost as well, but the real treat is waiting inside extreme storms. During these storms, your jetpack will have way more fuel, which severely offsets the fact that you can't see more than 5 feet in front of you. Now on to the most important topic, dirt. One of the first upgrades that puts the multi in multi-tool is the terrain manipulator, and this is useful for more than just manipulating the terrain. Every time you dig out the ground, you gain essential silicate powder. This is fundamental for refining glass, crafting many classy building parts, and even recharging your terrain manipulator, which sort of feels like using a metal detector to find another metal detector, but it's still good to know. And the most efficient way to collect silicate powder is by switching to the flatten setting and carving out huge chunks of the land in seconds. Base building is a staple of No Man's Sky, and any base worth setting up is most likely going to require power. You can always use solar panels and battery banks, but to make your life infinitely easier, you should always try to find an electromagnetic power source before setting down a base computer. Just one electromagnetic power generator in a B-class hotspot will give you more power than 4 solar panels, and it will never run out of juice. When building, you may notice the option to switch to a build camera. This omnipotent bird's eye view makes it much easier to make big constructions, but it still has a limit to how far you can go away from your body. However, you don't need to exit the camera, run over to a new spot, and jump into the build camera again. Instead, just double tap the build camera button and you'll immediately reset the movement bubble to expand your area of operations. Now you can stay locked into the perspective of an FPV drone and never have to use your own eyeballs ever again. Before we get to the final 5, my little Daisy has something she wanted to say. Very informative, thank you. A not so well-known fact is that bases do have restrictions for how many parts you put down and how many bases you can claim. You can own up to 400 separate bases. Inside one base, you can set down 3,000 individual parts, and across all of your bases, you can place up to 16,000 pieces per save file. While you may be thinking, oh, I'll never hit that limit, you'd be surprised. As a tired barista once said, at some point, you just have to stop grinding. If any task ever feels like you just don't have enough time to gather all the materials required, you can make things much easier on yourself by changing the difficulty settings on the fly. But I must express that you exercise extreme caution when changing these settings. Once you've made things too easy for yourself, it can be very hard to put the genie back in the bottle. Not unlike switching to creative mode in Minecraft, if everything is available at your fingertips, or hoof tips as the case may be, you can quickly lose some of your drive to progress. Similar to consistent exercise, part of the reward and satisfaction is how difficult it truly is to get extremely amazing results. Again, I assume. Whether you're in a hurry or not, it's always nice to know the fastest way to get around. Outside of using a teleporter, the ideal mode of transportation is using a solar ship in space, a sentinel ship in the air, a pilgrim exocraft on land, and on foot you can use the helpful melee jump for a special boost. This requires pressing the jump button immediately after a melee attack, which propels you at a delightful speed, just like in real life. Also, when flying above a planet, there is a very helpful sweet spot at the very top of the atmosphere. Here, you will go up to 10 times faster than when traveling close to the ground. It's tough to stay in the perfect zone, but it's very beneficial when you get familiar with it. Especially in your first playthrough, managing your role in the economy can be imperative. To keep the units flowing, one of the best tactics is selling your big-ticket items not to a trade terminal, but directly to NPCs. Selling to pilots and random geck who don't seem to have a purpose in life is much better for avoiding an unintended dip in demand, and it allows you to socialize more, which is always a treat. I could not have a top 10 list without mentioning one of the most underutilized mechanics in the game. The Bytebeat device is one of the best music-making mechanics hidden inside a video game. It's very easy to overlook these devices, but trust me, it is worth giving it a whirl. You can even chain up to 8 devices together to create complex music tracks and also control various light pads. Just remember, music volume has its own settings in the options menu, so if you don't hear anything, that might be why. We're not done yet though. We've got a double helping of helpful hints. Get ready for 10 more bonus tips. You can place bases on top of water by first setting down a floating Nautilin platform and dropping a base computer right on top of that. If you're like me, you like to walk, not so much in real life, but in No Man's Sky you can easily set your little legs to autopilot by pressing K on the keyboard. If you want to find creatures specifically for battling in the Xeno Arena, you can find out their level in the analysis visor before adopting them. There are now many ways to spacewalk, including landing on a frigate, building exterior doors on your freighter, and leaving your pilot seat in your Corvette. When setting up power in a base, you can put down an energy conduit anywhere you want. Power cables don't need to go directly from device to device, they can just sort of stop wherever. They're very independent. On console, it's easy to look around while flying, but on PC you can hold Alt and move your mouse to join in on the fun. No more Michael Keaton Batman head turning for you. Inventory management sorting buttons should not be ignored. These can really help late at night when all of the icons start blurring together. For the most efficient mining, keep the mining laser close to overheating without going over the limit to gain an extra performance boost. Terrain manipulation is a lot of fun, but it can often cause problems for other players if you upload your base after making changes to the landscape. Speaking of uploading bases, there's a limit of 1 base per planet that can be uploaded to the server at any given time. For those who are fans of cinematic camera movements, the photo mode is extra buttery with a controller in command. But if you're playing alone, time will freeze and you'll lose some of that organic movement. A quick workaround is turning off the HUD and entering the build camera. After zooming in a little in some editing software, you can create your own personal paparazzi that already knows where you live. If you already have too many voices inside your head, you can always change or remove the suit voice. Very nice if you get tired of hearing this. Technology recharge. Technology recharge. Technology recharge. It's clear I'm not that great at counting, but I still have one more. This little tip has been echoed more times than there are planets in No Man's Sky, but finishing the main story is the fastest way to fully unlock the universe. When you complete the main story, you'll unlock a previously hidden star system class that adds even more options for exploration. With the addition of new planet types over the years, this incentive to finish the story is greater than ever. I hope you learned a little something from these tips and tricks, and if you did not learn anything new, I'm equal parts impressed and terrified. So tell me what advice you'd give to new or existing players in the comment section. Or if you're too shy, just think it really hard. Check out No Man's Sky in the link below if you haven't already taken the leap, and hopefully I'll see you in the future. Otherwise, I'll definitely see you in the past. Thank you for being here. How exciting. Are you new to No Man's Sky? Probably, because no one has been allowed to be a part of the sky. None of the humans can have the sky. Why don't they want humans to own the sky? This is the 21st century. Everything is for sale.